Let's talk about the quadratic equation. This is called the quadratic equation, and it's in standard form. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. The a, b, and c would be numbers, any numbers, and a can't be 0 in order for this to be a quadratic equation. So the b and c could be 0, but the a can't be 0 because if a was 0, this wouldn't be a quadratic, it would be a linear equation. So this is the quadratic equation. Now, you can solve quadratic equations by factoring. You can solve them by completing the square. You can solve them by something called the quadratic formula. So this is the quadratic formula, not to be confused with the quadratic equation. The quadratic formula is what you use in order to solve these kinds of equations. So x equals the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So the whole thing is divided by 2 times whatever a is. So we're going to use that. So consider this equation. So this is a quadratic equation, and it is in standard form. Here a is 2. There's a. B, there's a coefficient of 1 there, so b is 1. So that's 1x. And then c is -1. So we're going to take those values and put them into that formula right there. So the opposite, so if b is 1, then the opposite of b is -1. So -1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared minus 4a c, all divided by 2 times a. So this is what we have. Now we're going to work this part underneath the radical. And so 1 squared is 1. -4 times 2 is -8. And -8 times -1 is +8. Of course, 2 times 2 is 4. So we have this. Now 1 plus 8 is 9, so I could write that like this. And the square root of 9 is just 3. So this becomes this. Now this means -1 plus 3 divided by 4, which is 2 over 4. But it also means -1 minus 3 over 4, which is -4 over 4. This reduces to a half, and this is -1. So this is how you use the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic equation and how to reduce it. So we got 2 answers. So what we mean by this is that these 2 numbers, if they were plugged back into the original, they would make this equal to 0. So these are x-intercepts on that graph. If you graphed this, these values would be x-intercepts. So they are solutions, and they are x-intercepts on the graph. See ya.